Hey guys, today we are going to be solving absolute value inequalities. Now absolute value inequalities are just like absolute value equations, where we're going to have two different equations and we're going to solve both and we're going to have two answers. But just like an inequality, we're going to have to either fill in between those two answers or to the left or to the right of those two answers. Okay, so we're either going to have a conjunction, which is an and, where it fills in together, or we're going to have a disjunction, which is or, and it's going to fill out to the left or out to the right. Now I have a little trick that helps us decide which it is. So if it's greater than, like if it opens to the left, where left equal to, it is a great or, so it's going to split out. If it is less than, if it opens to the right like this, it's going to be coming together. This is whenever x is written on the left side. Whenever it's the other way, it's flipped. So remember, always read from x to decide which way it's going to go. So let's take a look here at number 1. So number 1, I have 2x plus 5 is greater than 11. So if it is greater than 11, that's what's going to give me my or there. Okay? So it is or. And so that means whenever we draw it out, it's going to be going out to the left and out to the right. However, you'll notice we split it into two separate equations. That's pretty normal, right? With absolute value, it can be equal to 11 or it can be equal to negative 11, right? Well, what is not normal, what isn't normal, is whenever I have a greater than or less than sign, whenever I have a greater than sign, we split it where the first one is greater and the second one is less than. We have to switch it to be both of these, okay? Then we just solve each equation individually. So we're going to minus 5 to both sides. That's going to cancel that out. Give me 2x is greater than 6. Divide both sides by 2. X is greater than 3. On the other side, whenever I'm minus 5, it still cancels that out. But since I have a negative 11 minus 5 is a negative 16. So it's going to be 2x is less than negative 16. Divide both sides by 2. X is less than negative 8. So here I have my 2 points. And we're going to draw both of these on my graph here. I'm going to put a point here at negative 8, and I'm going to put a point here at 3. Now, am I going to fill in or leave the circles open on these two? I'm going to leave them open. I'm going to open a circle there and open my circle here. Because it is just less than or greater than, there is no equal to. Then, am I going to go out this way and this way, or am I going to come together? I'm going to go out because for two reasons. One, it is an or, and two, if it's greater than 3, we're going to go out to the right, and if it's less than negative 8, we're going to go to the left. So, to write this in interval notation, I'm going to write negative infinity to negative 8 union 3 to positive infinity. And as an inequality, we're just going to write x is less than negative 8 or x is greater than 3. Okay? So, let's backtrack. What do? We split it into two equations where one of it is equal to a positive, one's equal to a negative. Then we have to flip the sign on the one that we changed to a negative. Okay? So, let's take a look here at number 2. So number 2, I have 2x. The absolute value of 2x minus 3 is greater than 15. So, we still need to solve for the absolute value first. That's so important. I'm going to write out here, solve for absolute value first. So what do I mean by that? I mean get those bars by themselves. So to do that, I'm going to add 3 to this side, add 3 to this side. I'm going to get the absolute value of 2x is greater than 18. This is where we split it up, okay? We're going to go, well, first off, it's a greater than sign, so this is a or, right? This is an or, so it's going to be split apart. But next, whenever we split this up, we're going to go 2x is greater than 18, or 2x is less than negative 18. Notice that I flipped 18 to be negative, and I flipped the greater than sign to a less than sign. So now, when I solve, if I divide by 2 to both sides, we get x is greater than 9. If I divide by 2 to both sides here, I get x is less than negative 9. So once again, whenever I graph this out, we can put a point at negative 9, we can put a point at positive 9, and we're going to circle both of these, and we're not going to fill in because it's not equal to, and we're going to go to the left, and we're going to go to the right. Okay? So we're at the left of negative 9, we're at the right of positive 9. My interval notation, once again, it's going to be negative infinity to negative 9. And notice how I'm using parentheses because it's not equal to, union positive 9 to positive infinity. Okay? Then my inequality, same as usual. All we're just going to write is x is less than negative 9 or x is greater than positive 9. Okay? All right, let's go to the next page. And let's take a look here at number 3. So number 3, I don't even have an absolute value there. On number 3, it is just an inequality. So let's solve this. Let's go minus 3 to both sides, and we're going to get negative x is less than 2 minus 3 is negative 1. That's an ugly x. Okay. Then I'm going to get rid of that negative 1. And to get rid of that negative 1, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. And my answer is going to be x is greater than positive 1. Remember, when you multiply both sides by a negative, multiply or divide, when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative, flip the sign. When you multiply or divide both sides by a negative, flip the sign. So this goes from a less than to a greater than. So whenever we write this out, we can put a point at 1. We're going to leave it open, and it's going to be greater than. And in interval notation, it's going to be 1 to infinity. As an inequality, it's just going to be x is greater than 1. Number 4. We first need to solve for my absolute value. And we have a fraction. How do we clear out fractions? Right. We multiply by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3, multiply this side by 3. So we're going to get the absolute value of 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 3. Then, since it is less than, this problem is a and problem. That means it's going to be coming together. All right? So, whenever we split this up, it's going to be 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 3, and 2x minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 3. Notice how I flipped the sign and I changed it to a negative. Okay, now we just solve. Let's add 5 to both sides. That gives me 2x is less than or equal to 8 Then let us divide both sides by 2. So my first one is x is less than or equal to 4. And whatever this one does. So let's do the same thing. Add 5 to both sides. And we get 2x is greater than or equal to 2. Divide both sides by 2. And x is greater than or equal to 1. So here we have it, our two things. And we're going to put both of these on our number line. I'm going to put a point at 1. I'm going to put a point at 4. Am I going to leave these circles open or am I going to fill them in? Yeah, I'm going to fill them in. I'm going to fill in this one. I'm going to fill in this one. And then we're going to shade in between. Okay? Because it's and. Because it's greater than or equal to 1. It's less than or equal to 4. So for interval notation, it's really easy. We're going to use brackets since it's equal. We're going to go 1, 4, like that. And we're going to just write out our answer. We're going to go x is greater than or equal to 1. And x is less than or equal to 4. Good stuff, good stuff. Just 2 more problems and then we're done. Number 5. Number 5. The only thing tough about number 5 is I have to solve for my absolute value first. Just like I had to clear the fraction up there, I have to solve for my absolute value first. So what I'm going to do from the very beginning is I'm going to minus 5 to both sides. That's going to leave me with negative 3 times that absolute value is less than negative 18. And then to clear out that negative 3. Guys, this is important. Remember, we cannot distribute that negative 3 in there. It's not a parentheses. You cannot distribute into an absolute value. Okay? So, what we have to do instead is divide by negative 3. So that'll cancel that out. And so I'll just have the absolute value of 2 minus 4w is greater than, because I divided both sides by negative 3, we have to flip the sign. Negative 18 divided by negative 3 is going to be a positive 6. So there you have it. Now, I can split this up into 2 equations. I'm going to write one of them over here. One of my equations is going to be 2 minus 4w is greater than 6. That's the normal one. Now my other one is going to be 2 minus 4w is less than negative 6. See how we split these up? Okay? And so we're going to get 2 answers. And it is going to be a greater than sign, so once we find those 2 answers, they're going to be going apart from each other. Okay? So, as we go about this, we're going to minus 2 here, minus 2 here. It's going to give me negative 4w is greater than 4. Divide both sides by negative 4. We're going to get w is less than negative 1. We had to flip that sign whenever I divided by a negative. So we had to flip the sign twice in this problem. Okay? Don't let that freak you out. Just remember, whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, we flip that sign. All right, next up, over here, let's minus 2 to both sides here, and that gives me negative 4w is less than negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 4, and we get w is greater than 2. So once again, I had to flip the sign. So we're going to put our point down here. I'm going to put a point at negative 1. We're going to leave it open. I'm going to put a point here at 2 and leave that open. It's going to be less than negative 1. It's going to be greater than 2. So my inequality is going to be w is less than negative 1 or w is greater than 2. And as interval notation is going to be negative infinity to negative 1 union 2 to positive infinity. All right, guys, number 6 will be on your notes, so go check those out. All right, as always, if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Your homework assignment is going to be in Go formative. Try your best and see what happens. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.